guys. So today we're going to talk about nosodes. It's going to be an advanced kind of video. If you don't know much about homeopathy, try to look into the basic concepts like nosodes and miasms and stuff like that, and then you're going to understand this video after a while. But I can't keep making videos about like the most basic level stuff in homeopathy. I need to, to have enough things to talk about. I need to talk about some of the advanced stuff. Okay, so nosodes are, of course, homeopathic remedies made from diseased tissue. Miasms are just basically energetic disturbances in an individual which cause disease, right? And these miasms can be inherited, kind of. And today we're going to read something by Peter Morrell, who was or is, I'm not sure if he's still alive. He might be. He would then be something like 74 or something. He's criticizing miasmatic treatment. Okay, and I've also frequently criticized that. I don't think that's very appropriate. And Morrell's opinions corroborate mine or many other people's. And this is a big blow to the woke and the progressive homeopaths, because Morrell is not a classical homeopath in the sense that of him being a fundamentalist or being in the cult of Kent. Of course, Kent didn't have a cult, but the woke people always say that he had a cult. And actually, in homeopathy, you can do whatever you want, and there are no rules. And anybody who wants to have established standards is just evil and oppressive. So, yeah, you can't. What are you gonna say to Morrell? Let's get into this. So he talks about psychosis, syphilis. This is the article Miasms, Nosodes, and Essences. He talks about the basic definitions of the miasms. You can read those. I'm not going to get into that. And yeah, you can find this article. Here's the URL, right? This is just a web browser. homeointo.org/Morrell/articles/miasms. Let's get into what I wanted to talk about today, which is nosodes. And he says, on the point about the use of miasms in treatment, some people routinely give the corresponding nosode. For example, to a child born with fine syphilitic skin vesicles, they might wish to give syphilinum rather than the simillimum, say mercury. This would tend to be seen as inappropriate use of the miasm concept, and the simillimum is what the patient needs, not the nosode. So this is what we've been saying for a very long time. And here is somebody who's not in Kent's cult, who's not in the cult of classical homeopathy, saying the same thing. It doesn't make any sense for you to give nosodes and associate and just, if the patient is syphilitic, just giving syphilinum. You always have to give the simillimum in homeopathy, which is what is that? Which is the remedy that it corresponds to the totality of the symptoms. And we just keep saying this. I know we keep harping on this. We keep doubling down, and that is because that is the truth. Okay. And it's corroborated by people like Morrell. Such routine use of serinum, metarinum, and syphilinum is therefore frowned upon. Certainly, the nosode can do good work, but it should be used more as an occasional intercurrent remedy or when it becomes the simillimum, not just routinely. I'm not sure what an intercurrent remedy is. This is where we can sense that Morrell is not exactly a classical homeopath, right? Intercurrent remedies are kind of weird. It's a weird concept to me, but yeah, so that's proof, right? He's not a classical homeopath, very strictly speaking. But even he is condemning of the miasmatic treatment silliness. And of course, there are, it's not the woke people. They don't just say that it's okay to do that. A lot of the woke homeopaths actually parade around and um, on their website they advertise, oh, I provide miasmatic treatment. Okay, so if you see that on a homeopath's website, I provide miasmatic treatment. I utilize my own revolutionary miasmatic method of treatment. You have to run away in the opposite direction very quickly. So Morrell continues talking about essence, miasm, holism, and maybe one other thing that might be interesting here is when he talks about essentialism, which is pretty interesting. Essentialism is the belief in essences independent of the phenomena of appearance and which are conceived as non-dimensional phenomena. The idea is common to Pythagoras, Plato, and Aristotle and dominated philosophy for centuries, almost into the modern era. Goethe, for example, seems to have achieved a fusion of Plato's essentialism with aesthetic principles. An appreciation of essentialism involves the belief that objects and living things each contain an underlying immaterial essence that can only be known through a form of reflection upon the nature or substance of the organism. Natural selection, for example, seems meaningless to an essentialist, for it can never touch the underlying essence. It can only eliminate deviations from the type. That is operate at the physical level. That is or whatever. Okay, so very interesting. Again, this is interesting because hey, this also corroborates my feelings about germ theory. Morrell says miasms and nosodes are suggestive of the idea of disease being caused not by morbific particles on the material level, as allopaths contend, but by some internalized subtle essence carried by the germ and transferred through potentization of the nosode. So this is explaining essentialism as applied to the germ theory thing. He says it's not the particles causing disease, but especially when you look at the nosodes, when they are made, the diseased tissue and the particles have a subtle essence or some kind of essence, which is transferred to the homeopathic remedy, and it doesn't have anything to do with the particles, right? So that's why it doesn't matter. It's not refuting vitalism, right? The nosodes don't refute vitalism or people who are against germ theory. And the germs and the diseased tissue contains a subtle essence which is transferred into the homeopathic remedy. And so it's the same with regular contagion. I think that's my opinion. So there's an essence of the disease, an essentialist essence of the disease, which is transferred, which is can be transferred to another person, and it's not necessarily germs which cause the germs themselves which cause the disease. So Kent makes it very clear that homeopathy has a vitalistic rather than a materialistic view of disease. The microbe is not the cause of disease. We talked about this a lot. And also, we are very happy to read that Morrell also torpedoes natural selection, which I am a big critic of. Like I'm very skeptical about evolution, but I don't want to get into that too much. But I find it unlikely that um, the complexity of life evolved through natural selection. Um, we can't say that it evolved by chance because the evolutionists are going to say it's not by chance, but natural selection. But even natural selection seems unlikely to me, and I'm happy to see Morrell corroborating that. So that's great. Um, I just think evolution and natural selection belong to um, like the scientism worldview. It's just a cosmology created um for people to have something to believe in, right? We don't really know the answers, but if you want to believe in something, here's evolution and natural selection, and then you can sleep real well knowing that you have all the answers, right? So that's what it was. That's my opinion. I know it's a conspiracy theory, but it is what it is. So that's it for today. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you guys later.